Meantime, witness testimony expected to resume this morning in the trial of the former Colorado dentist accused of murdering his wife. James Craig suspected of poisoning his wife's daily workout smoothies, ultimately killing her with a lethal dose of cyanide. Craig facing multiple charges, including first-degree murder and solicitation. The prosecution and defense laying out their arguments in opening statements yesterday.
There was a motive. Well, you ask yourself, these are my problems, other women. In this case, it is.
She was broken. She was struggling. We're not disputing that she died.
Really, the crux of this case is how.
Criminal defense attorney David Gettleman joins me now to discuss. David, I think this case is going to take off in terms of its news watchability. People are going to be fascinated by this as we learn more. So let's get right to it. And I want you to take a look, starting with the search history of the suspect, James Craig. It showed multiple suspicious purchases and searches before his wife's death. Take a look. You can see him there on your screen. Basically, the number one takeaway from this, one of the searches included how to make murder look like a heart attack. That looks real bad for the defendant, doesn't it, David?
Doesn't look very good. You know, his digital footprint is bigger than Shaq's shoe. I don't understand how an individual who is a dentist, probably a pretty smart guy, although that's debatable right now. How can he possibly have all this search history? It's not just that. He was finding out, can you die with cyanide? You know, is this detectable in toxicology reports? All these things. You have to realize that when you do searches on Google or any other search engine, the police are going to be able to figure it out pretty quickly. And he obviously is going to be the first person to figure this one out.
There's also this bizarre text message between Craig and his wife 12 days before her death. Look at this. James writes, "Are you nauseous? Angela, I feel drugged. James, just for the record, I didn't drug you. I am super worried, though." I mean, who talks like that, David?
My kids. It's like, you know, you say, don't go in that cookie jar. Okay, I won't. Oh, wait, you did. That's the really, really, just eerie thing. And that's just the tip of the iceberg in this type of case. I mean, this is an individual who ordered cyanide and ordered arsenic. And then his partner, his dentist partner, intercepted one of the packages and said, why are you doing this? We don't even use this in our practice. So these are all the things that are going to be coming out in the trial. And I think it's going to be very interesting to see how the jury is going to be looking at this dentist.
There's also this. Prosecutors have accused the defendant of plotting to kill 4 other people, mind you, including the lead detective on the case. And his previous lawyers actually asked to withdraw from representing him. What does that tell you?
It tells me that he thinks he's the smartest guy in the room, and he's probably the dumbest. Because when you have an individual who doesn't go through just one attorney, but multiple attorneys, that's a huge, huge red flag for any criminal defense attorney, because there's no way you're going to get into that dumpster fire. The first attorney left. You know why? Because he said, I cannot represent this individual because of moral aptitude from this individual, that he is lying pretty much to me, and he will probably lie to the jury and the judge.
Wow. Finally, before we let you go, Rick Singer, remember that name? The mastermind behind the college admissions scandal, now allowed to return to the college consulting business, but there's a catch. He must disclose his criminal past to clients. Less of a legal question for you here, David, and more of a parental question. Would you hire this guy for your kids?
You know what? If he gets him into college, like a good college.
But he can't bribe him anymore.
I know. This is funny. It's like, he is the individual that created fake athletes so kids can go to college. It's like the coach getting the whistle back. Yeah. Okay, nothing to see here, guys. I actually think he's going to be somewhat successful. He's going to have to say to all the parents, hey, look, yeah, I spent 3.5 years in prison. I have to pay $10 million in restitution. But look, I'll probably get your kid back into USC. Is he good at swimming, or what can he do? So
interesting. We are in disagreement on this. We'll have you back to see how it all plays out. David, Rick Singer's career. You're David Gelman. You're not Rick Singer, but you can probably get my kid into college as well. We appreciate your time this morning.
So a Colorado dentist is on trial this week after he was accused of poisoning his wife's protein shakes and killing her with cyanide while she was hospitalized in 2023. James Craig is facing several charges, including first-degree murder and solicitation to commit murder, perjury, and more.
There was a motive. Well, you ask yourself, these are my problems, it other women. In this case, it is.
She was broken. She was struggling. We're not disputing that she died.
Really, the crux of this case is how.
Attorney Scott Lazaro has been followed this case closely and since the beginning, and she joins us now. Scott, thanks so much for joining the program.
Good morning.
So, Counselor, I guess one of the hardest parts of this case is that the prosecution doesn't just have to prove, and there is a lot of evidence there to present, but they have to prove that last dose that caused the death. How do they do that?
That's going to be the hardest thing I think they need to overcome in this case. In their opening statement, they were pretty definitive that that lethal dose was given in the hospital, which means they're going to have to craft a pretty good timeline with a toxicology expert, a time of death, what that lethal dose was, and how it was administered. So they've really tied themselves to a narrative in this case.
So on the other side, the prosecution also has evidence, and I think the strongest part of the evidence is the Google searches, him actually researching how to do it. This is some of the searches right here. How many grams of pure arsenic will kill a human? Is arsenic detectable in an autopsy? How to make a murder look like a heart attack? And then you have the purchases on Amazon as well. Anytime
in a case like this where you have a digital footprint or digital evidence that is essentially the defendant's speaking on his own behalf through his Google searches and the timing of those just right before her death, combined with the Amazon purchases and things like that. That's a lot for a defense attorney to overcome in this case. It's certainly circumstantial evidence, but it is evidence that's going to weigh strongly in their favor.
So, Counselor, I know you haven't looked at the full case file, but you've been following the case. How would you defend someone like this?
You know, these cases are tough. I think this case largely can be defended or needs to be defended through experts. You're not going to get away from the things that James Craig did, the text messages he sent, those types of things. So really what they're going to have to attack is did that lethal dose, was that the dose that killed her? Did he administer it? Can they lay the timeline for him to have the opportunity to be able to administer it? And then that combined with, I think in some ways you attack the investigation in this case, that they focused solely on Mr. Craig. They didn't go down and research or follow any other leads in this case, that it was a little bit tunnel vision. And we heard some of that in the defendant's attorney's opening statement as well.
Mm-hmm. Counselor, if you've been following, I know you have in a lot of our audience, these national cases, I do see jurors all over the country kind of checking the process and making the prosecution prove their case. They just can't try these cases in the court of public opinion, which is really shocking for me. The jurors have almost taken back their power and they want solid cases. Do you see that potentially being an obstacle for the prosecution?
I think that certainly could be an obstacle in this case. And it's really refreshing to see juries really dissect cases and look at evidence and look at what needs to be proven. You know, it's easy for us to look at headlines and say, man, that's a lot. He must be guilty. But jurors really do a good job, in my experience, of looking at what the prosecution can prove, has proved. And when they make a promise in a case such as this, that he administered that lethal dose in the hospital, I think jurors are going to hold him to that. And they're going to want to see the state piece that together and put together that timeline in conjunction with, you know, a toxicology expert coming in saying this was the lethal dose that killed him. This is when it had to have been administered so that they can put him in that room during that time frame. I do think that could be a problem, especially if the defense has an expert who's going to come in and challenge that.
Well, Scott, we're going to be following this case, and hopefully you'll come back and keep us posted.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.